So Grace and I are now joined by Baylor offensive coordinator Jake Spavital. Coach, how's it going? Obviously had a practice this morning. I hope all that went well for you.
Yeah, everything's going good. Just in that kind of middle of the season grind right now. So it's had a good practice this morning, and I think our guys are ready to go out there and hopefully put on a show for this homecoming crowd this weekend.
So, Coach, clearly the bye week worked some wonders for y'all. You had a really, really good week against Texas Tech. What was the focus during that week, and how do you feel like it transferred to the game?
Yeah, it really starts just back in the Tarleton State game. Like week by week by week, all we've been preaching is about getting better and just doing the little things right. And finally, we had a game, and it happened to come after a bye week where we actually put it all together and played a relatively clean game. Which, if you go back to that Tarleton State game, we had all sorts of penalties and negative plays, and a lot of just missed assignments and errors that were on us. And you go into this last game, and we didn't have any negative plays, we didn't have any turnovers. We had 3 penalties that we overcame. So they're starting to understand, what it takes to play clean, efficient football. And, it isn't fun going into a bye week being 2-4, and especially after a tough loss. But you got to give these guys credit. They show up every single day. They want to win. They care. And you see the results as a coach each week. And I was just very happy for them and pleased that they put it all together in a game. And now they understand what it looks like and what we're capable of doing. And let's see if we can continue to get better throughout this week. And hopefully we can really have a similar result to what we did versus Texas Tech.
What would you say in the run game the biggest difference was from those first 6 games to this Texas Tech game? Was it just basically clean football, or was there something that clicked with the offensive line, with the running backs, and they all kind of gelled together for this game?
I think, we had some off-tackle stuff that we hadn't been doing much of. We've been practicing it for a couple of weeks just to make sure that, we weren't, too fired up for it. But that bye week did help with establishing some new run schemes. And I gave Sor Robertson credit. He did check into a lot of those plays that we worked on and got us into the right look. And, just seeing B-Wash and just the O-line and Dawson and Richard Reese have success running the football, it fired me up. It makes play calling a lot easier. I can tell you that when the run game is established. So I was excited just to see how they rushed for, I forgot what it was, 250 yards or so, something like around there. But just to have that success and be just a balanced offense, I think the culmination of just the bye week and just, working on things over the past few weeks just added up and started getting us in the right looks, and the rest of them just playing hard and having some explosive runs for us.
So Coach Sor Robertson has been the guy now for a little over a month. Where have you seen the biggest growth from him since you arrived to where he is now?
Yeah, he's an impressive guy, man. Just, the approach that he has, he's such a great teammate. When he got delivered the news that he wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year, a lot of kids would, look to maybe transfer, look just for excuses, or just, you're going into kind of really roughly your last season. That's the 5th time he's been told that he wasn't the starting quarterback. And, just to see him, how great of a teammate he was and how he encouraged, people throughout those first 2 games, how he prepared like he was going to be the starter. And just going into that Air Force game, I was just so fired up for him because I knew he was going to play great because of the amount of work that he puts into it. And he has that great success versus Air Force, and then you just see him start to build off of it. He works on his pocket presence. He works on the checks. He watches a ton of tape. It's just been a pleasure to coach. It just reminds me of some of the great quarterbacks I've had in the past, of the work ethic and just that the intangibles of being a great teammate. And I think the team, he provided a spark that was needed for us on offense. And right now he's playing very efficient. I think he's one of the top, I think he's leading the Big 12 and he's top 10 nationally in terms of QBR. So that just shows that he's doing the right thing and putting our team in the best position to win.
Yeah, so you look at your receiver room, and obviously you guys have a bunch of guys running around out there, and obviously Ketron not being out there against Texas Tech, but you didn't miss a beat, right? It just felt like every single game there's a new guy stepping up. I know Josh has been pretty consistent, but it doesn't seem like defenses can focus in on one specific receiver. Is that always the game plan? I mean, obviously you don't want to tip your hand to anyone, but it seems like every single game there's somebody else that's stepping up.
Yeah, I give credit to that room. They work well together. They're selfless. There's a lot of talent, I believe, in that room. But if you just sacrifice for the team, your moment's going to come where you're going to end up having big time catches. And Josh is a great example of that. Like he's a guy that if you told him to go in and play left tackle, he'd go and play left tackle right now.
He probably could.
He probably could, and I always tell him that he's not allowed to leave the game because he's just always consistent. And he came out for one play in the Texas Tech game, which we've been all kind of getting after him a little bit because I think he's literally played every single play since the Air Force game, on offense, which is a testament to who he is. But you got Hal Presley, he's playing at a high level as well, and then Monterey and Ashton, those guys are very multiple. Ashton was playing outside with Tron out. And Ashton was dominating out there, which was good to see. So it's a comfort for Sawyer as well. And with those four guys, he's just he any position that they're in, he's very comfortable in what they can do and in their skill set. But then you also throw in Michael Trigg as well. And Trigg is a very dynamic receiver body type as well. So we've got 5 guys in there right now that we're leaning on heavy. And I think after the success they've kind of had over the past couple of weeks, you can kind of see the confidence that they're having in there, and they're excited to get back out there again on Saturday.
You all had to play a few of the best defenses in the Big 12 to start this season, and you had to go play them on the road too. Do you think that helped prepare y'all for this Texas Tech game? And then, of course, what you're going to see going forward?
Yeah, I think you can't take anything for granted ever, just because, preseason rankings, I just kind of laugh at because you don't even know what type of team you have, because the transfer portal and all the moving parts. But those defenses were pretty stout, and I think they, when you go up against Utah and BYU and Iowa State, they're just kind of, they're all different types of defenses, but they're very efficient. They're very good at what they do. And I think that's kind of been also a thing that's made Sawyer grow because he's seen a lot of different looks, the 3 high safety shell versus Iowa State, to a lot of man press, in the Utah game, to a mixture of everything. In BYU, I thought we had them off a little bit where they got into a lot of drop 8 coverage in the game, and that shows how Sawyer was dialed in. But I think you look at this Oklahoma State team. I think they're very talented. They're just beat up right now in terms of just injuries, but they're very good with their scheme. They've always been a good program. They're a top 25 preseason national team. So we got another challenge, and I think the Big 12 every week you got to bring it to a certain extent. I just thought. With the tough defenses that we played early and the bye week, man, it was a good opportunity for us to go out there and be ready for all the looks that Tim DeRuyter and Texas Tech defense threw at us.
Yeah, going back to the running game for a second, you mentioned running more off tackle outside stuff. How does that help the run game now that that's on film for the upcoming opponents? Obviously, it's something that you hadn't shown much in the first 6 games. Now it's on film. How does that help you? And is it something that you can do multiple things off of because you've run that in this particular game against Tech?
Yeah, it makes the linebackers play more honest, because I'm a big downhill run game believer. And we've had a lot of moving parts up front. We've had injuries and we've played, I think 8 offensive linemen, and we still play a lot right now. Yeah. But if they can get a beat on what you're trying to do in the run game, they can take it out with a lighter box. And then once you start having multiple runs where you can go off tackle and to go downhill, and that's something that we've been working on for a while. And finally we got something that we're comfortable with on the off tackle stuff. So now it's going to make defenses play a little bit more honest. When we played Utah and Colorado and even BYU in some instances, and Texas Tech at times, they would just load the box and play man press because they can kind of take away, and dictate where the ball was going to hit. So when we started hitting those off tackle plays, man, it got them out of their game plan pretty quickly. So with it being on tape, it is definitely going to be something that defense has got to prepare for in the future.
You talked about Oklahoma State being a pretty talented team and obviously a really good program as well. What has kind of been the focus for y'all this week coming off that Tech game as you kind of get prepared for what you're going to see from the Cowboys?
Yeah, and again, like it's been crazy, like how like we've been talking. Like I normally talk about the opponent and all of that, throughout the beginning, like the first 7 games. But now it's just like we mentioned Oklahoma State. We talk about it. We show the looks, but it's more about us and the demeanor that we played with, the attention to detail, and how clean up football we do. Because we do a slide at the beginning of every unit meeting on Sunday after a game, just when we call it the controllable slides, and things that we can control, like communication errors or just missed assignments or penalties pre and post snap, and kind of like our effort and just kind of simple execution plays. And when you look at the games we struggle at are the ones where we beat ourselves. And like when we take pride in just worrying about the little things and the details and just the discipline of things, man, good things happen. But with Oklahoma State, they know that this is a great team. They know that they're going through some injuries. They've lost like you go in the West Virginia game versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State had like their whole D line out. Now they have some safeties out. They have like a lot of missing parts, but like they're moving back. Like they're getting healthier and they're back. And Ollie Gordon was playing well, but then they had their quarterback get injured last week. And Alan Bowman, which is crazy to say, I played Alan Bowman in 2018 when I was at West Virginia. That's which is crazy, But yeah, it's like these guys know that we got a tough test ahead of us. We're showing them the looks, but they also know that our biggest issue is ourselves. And if we just keep working on us and showing up with good intentions and a sacrifice and a selflessness and play with the effort and the physicality needed and not beat ourselves, and good things will happen.
Yeah. So my last question for you, and it goes to the offensive line, the one position that's kind of been rotating quite a bit. You mentioned this just a minute ago, playing guys, but Sidney Fugar looks like he's been the guy at left tackle the last couple of games. What have you seen from his performance? And obviously he came from South Carolina where he played tackle. They moved to guard for you. Now he's back at tackle. Like, what does he bring to that position? I know he's a big guy, athletic. How is he as the coach? How is he as a player? Is he learning that position more and more? Like, what is it about him that's made him kind of fit in at that left tackle position?
Yeah, Sidney's been great, man. He's always got a smile on his face, but he's a very angry guy when he plays, and like you're saying, he's a massive guy. He's played left tackle, right tackle. We got him left guard. We got him back out of left tackle. When he gets his hands on people, he moves them, Coach Miller, I give him credit. He's just a guy that's been putting together, for Mike Leach over the years, just good offensive lines. And he pays attention to it. He moves them around. And I thought that was kind of a spark needed up front. It is when we moved Sidney to left tackle, and it just allowed for bigger bodies that we can move. And like, as crazy it is for him, man, like he's like 340, 50 pounds. He's a massive guy, but like he can move extremely well. And he's got the old school face mask with the bar right down the middle of the, so it just kind of adds on to who he is, man. But he's a pleasure to coach and be around, and everybody loves him in the facility, and he's getting better every single day, as you guys can tell. And just having Sidney out there and just, and that continuity is starting to get cleaner and cleaner every single day that they're out there together.
You've coached a lot of really good offenses during your time coaching. Is there a common thread between those offenses that you've seen as the season progresses, as far as, what steps they're taking to become a truly great offense by the end of the year? And can this Baylor offense, do you think, get to that?
Yeah. I think we get better every single game, and like the challenge all week, really for the 6 weeks of it was like, hey, we're going to win a game on offense. All right. And it takes work. It takes, the sacrifice, and you just got to keep chipping away. And once they I feel like they're hitting a rhythm right now where they understand how things work. They understand spacing and alignments and coverages and grass and what to get to, and the tempo and that we play with. And, normally the best offenses I've had year 2, they go really they go crazy. But right now it's just one day at a time, 1 week at a time. And let's just keep building off of, what we've done, just recognize the good and be critical of the bad and just keep improving. And I think they've just kind of bought into it, and it was so pleasing for me as a coach to see them have success versus Texas Tech because of all of the hard conversations and the ups and downs and just us chipping away. It finally showed it. And now they have more energy and they're excited to get back to work. They know that they're not perfect and they got a long ways to go, but they're out there, fighting and trying to get after it every single day because they know that they can keep improving each day. So, that's typically a good sign of an offense is that they continue to play, and you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the season. And I I think that they've improved week by week.